28 Years Later came out last summer. It was well received, but there were some complaints about the ending. To be fair, it's a big swing, and it comes out of nowhere. After 2 very bleak hours of a family surrounded by death and destruction coming apart at the seams, the sudden appearance of some Jimmy Savile cosplayers doing Power Rangers Kung Fu felt like a jarring tonal shift, to say the least. But that final scene was less a part of that movie and more a teaser for this sequel. It introduced us to the characters we'd spend the sequel with, and the more chaotic vibe they brought with them. If you didn't like that teaser at the end of 28 Years Later, I'm not sure you'll like the feature-length expansion of it, but I loved that unexpected ending, and I loved the full-length movie version of it.
And now, a leap into the unknown.
Nia DaCosta faced a steep uphill battle taking the reins from Danny Boyle and continuing this trilogy. Much like the last time a non-Brit was entrusted with one of these movies, when Spanish Juan Carlos Fresnadillo directed 28 Weeks Later, The Bone Temple loses a bit of the franchise's signature Britishness in the hands of an American director. But what DaCosta lacks in the blood of an Englishman, she more than makes up for with good old-fashioned filmmaking talent, a good sense of pacing, a good rapport with the actors, and a passion for cinema, and a deep love and appreciation and understanding of horror cinema in particular. The spooky set pieces are just as effective here as in DaCosta's Candyman reboot, but the themes and subtext are a lot subtler in The Bone Temple.
This is interesting.
Franchise creator Alex Garland provides another solid script. The last movie had a lot of detours and subplots to help build out the world and establish where we are 3 decades into this apocalypse. But now that all that stuff's been set up, The Bone Temple can dive right into the action. That's a double-edged sword, because it makes The Bone Temple feel more like an extension of the previous film than a standalone piece. It's a bit like Avatar 3 in that sense. It's standing on the shoulders of a previous film instead of standing on its own 2 feet. 28 Years Later took us to all these exciting new places, and The Bone Temple just takes us back to those familiar sets. It's almost like an episode of a TV show. But it's a TV show I'm enjoying a lot, and this is a hell of an episode.
We may have diseases and barbarism.
Since it has a lot less table setting to do, The Bone Temple is more focused than its predecessor. It has a tighter story with a more traditional structure. It sets up an A plot and a B plot nice and succinctly in the first act, develops those concurrent storylines throughout the second act, and brings them both crashing together in the third and final act. The A-plot sees Spike getting accustomed to life with the Jimmies following the cliffhanger ending of the last movie. If the first film was about Spike losing his innocence, then this one is about Spike clinging to what little innocence he has left. He instantly realizes he's made a mistake. He's mixed in with the wrong crowd. That occurs to him at some point during his initiation ritual. But once you're in, the only way out is through a gruesome sacrifice or losing a fight to the death, so he's stuck with them. It's very bleak and brutal, almost like The Road if the boy had to join one of the murder gangs to survive. The B-plot, on the other hand, exists on a very different wavelength, with an almost farcical tone. It's an oddball buddy story between Dr. Kelson and Samson, as the good doctor tries to tame the swinging dick alpha. They're like a benevolent version of Frankenstein and his monster if they bonded over their love of Duran Duran. It's all good stuff. They're 2 very different storylines, but they're equally fascinating in their own ways. And the finale that brings it all together is absolutely bonkers. It's the definition of outside-the-box thinking to use an early aughts zombie franchise to explore a world where Operation U-Tree never happened and Jimmy Savile remained a beloved folk hero. A gang of kung fu fighting Jimmy Saviles was a curious concept when it was introduced in 28 Years Later, and it gets fleshed out into a fascinating piece of lore here. This post-apocalyptic Savile-worshipping cult has twisted his catchphrases into religious mantras and reimagined his iconography as sacred vestments. All this stuff with the Jimmies reminded me of Mr. Burns, a post-electric play by Anne Washburn, where a post-apocalyptic traveling theater turns Simpsons episodes into epic tragedies. Over time, the meaning of things gets warped and adapted until it's unrecognizable. It's an interesting theme being explored in the wildest way possible.
Yes. Old Nick released his demons unto the world of man. And the world of man fell before the demons.
The performances are spectacular across the board once again. More Ralph Fiennes is never a bad thing, and he gets to have a lot more fun with the role this time around, putting on a pseudo-demonic show and dancing to Iron Maiden. Jack O'Connell also shines in a more expanded role, bringing the same unsettling blend of genuine menace and undeniable charisma that made his villains in Sinners and Eden Lake so compelling. Emma Laird is great as Jemima, the most childlike but also most violent of the Jimmies, and Erin Kellyman is great as a jaded Jimmy who's starting to smell Dear Leader's bullshit. Alfie Williams recently lost an award to a dog, but he's a wonderful young actor. He has less to do in The Bone Temple. The last movie was primarily his coming-of-age story, but this one has a scenery-chewing villain commanding your attention whenever he's on screen. Still, Williams really sells Spike's fear as he realizes he's in way over his head as a newly minted member of this sadistic gang. You really feel the terror in his wide eyes and his panicked breathing, and you can see the internal conflict racking his brain whenever he's forced to do something fucked up.
What's your name?
Spike?
No, I think your name is Jimmy.
I won't spoil it, but the ending of The Bone Temple is both awesome and frustrating. Awesome because it's just as surprising as the last ending, but guaranteed to be more fan-pleasing. And frustrating because I can't wait to see where this trilogy's going in the third film, and it'll take longer than 6 months for that one to come out. If that third film sticks the landing, then the 28 Years Later trilogy could join Sam Raimi's Evil Dead trilogy and Lucio Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy as one of the all-time greatest horror movie trilogies. Danny Boyle set it up spectacularly in the first film, and now Nia DaCosta has given us the twisted Jimmy Savile Strikes Back dark middle chapter.
I am your father.
No. It's not true. That's impossible.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.